Welcome back. Welcome back. This thing has been on my mind for a while, so I thought I bring it up again, and I want us to analyze it this time around. So if you are here, you are a parent, call another parent, call one parent and call another and call another and call another and show up, and let's start talking. All right, let's start talking. Let's start talking.
Your problem is
What is this? You get it? Okay. So I'm gonna start anyway. I'm gonna start whenever anybody catches on. Then it is what it is. Because here we go again. I'm delaying this, also going into 2 minutes. So I'm starting. Okay. So listen. This is a message between a parent and a child. The parent got to know about the child, and then the parent sent this message. What you want, and your mother encouraging you to break the law. Your mother is encouraging you to break the law. I need all the information for this. I gave it to my lawyer for evaluation. Do not think these things are a joke or something. Do you think these things are a joke or something? I'm going to call the NVA and have the permit revoked because I did not authorize it. Hey Angie, how are you? Good to see you. Something I can't pronounce. Tyson, I see you. Go mate. 3 go mate. I see you. We are talking about parental alienation, and we are analyzing a conversation, a text message between the parent and the child. And I would like you, I'm reading the text message, so I'm going to read the parent and the child's conversation, and I want you to put in the comment section. Hope you are having a good day. My day is over. It's 8 p.m. I did have a busy but fulfilling day. So I want to read this text message, and I want you to help me analyze it. I'm a parent. Hi. I'm a parental alienation coach, a mental health advocate, and I encourage healthy parenting. My belief is every child deserves a parent, not just one, two. One mother, one father, because it's the chromosomes of both of these parents that created the child. And what does that mean? That means the child is going to have to form an identity. They're going to have to know their identity. And how do they create a healthy identity? It's based on their interaction with both parents. So I do believe that both children deserve to have both of their parents in their lives, married or divorced. So have them in their lives in a healthy way, right? And that's what I advocate for when you come to my platform. So today we are analyzing a text message. If you have a similar text message between a child and a parent that you want us to analyze, I would love to have it, because I want us to dissect it. So we're starting to read this message again, okay? This message reads, what you want, and your mother encouraging you to break the law. I need all the information for this. I'll give it to my lawyer for evaluation. Do you think these things are a joke or something? I'm going to call the MVA and have the permit revoked because I did not authorize it. And the child's response to this was, no. Of course, I don't think so. Of course, it's going to be, the child will be scared, the child will be panicking, the child will be, you know, will be anxious. So definitely it's not going to be the same tone. So the child was like, no, I was asking you and you didn't take me. So my mother did. Simple, right? What do you think of that conversation? First of all, there was a threat, there was gaslighting, there was psychological grooming and manipulation, trying to alter the child's normal developmental age, the normal development of the brain, how the brain should perceive such an act. If a child meets their developmental milestone, 16 years, 17 years, say 15 years, and they have to get driver's license, they tell you, you don't, as a parent, you don't support them, you didn't help them, you pretty much goes blank on them. You know how a gaslighter makes you feel like, are you, something is wrong with you? But keep asking, and you know, you didn't even say anything, you don't even answer. Like, is it wrong to ask? Is it, you start questioning yourself? Thank God, at least this child have another parent or somebody elsewhere somewhere that is trying to help, right? So let's first analyze this interaction. And then I wrote this down, okay? This is my research. An eloquent, clinically informed and trauma-informed explanation of this, because that was how I did the research of this interaction. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. How parental alienation affects children and the development of trust. Parental alienation is not simply a high conflict parental, I don't know if is this, no, I think this one is the, guys, I want to make sure I have the right one. I think that one was on trust. I discussed trust, parental alienation and trust the other day. So I think that, no, yeah, I was on a different this. Here is a clear clinical evidence-based explanation of what is happening in that scenario in the chat, the interaction I read right now. This is an evidence-based explanation of what is happening in that scenario, why it is a form of grooming, also why it is a form of manipulation, and how it affects the child's developing brain, self-concept, and worldview. Now the child is learning that it is wrong, even if I'm of age to get driver's license, it is wrong to go and get it. Now I'm being gaslighted to believe that it is, if not only is it wrong, it is legally inappropriate. I can get in trouble with the law. So there are lawyers that have to be involved. You see how fear is injected, is projected into the situation. My kids, for instance, they grew up believing that even if they are harmed, calling the police and reporting is wrong. I don't know about others, but in parental alienation, things like this is what the alienators do. They do this for their own selfish interest. You get it? So number one is what? This interaction, this message I read to you, they said it is grooming and manipulation. The behavior fits multiple patterns observed in parental alienation, coercive control, and psychological manipulation. You get it? The person is trying to control, feel powerful, feel like the child should have an allies, an affiliation with them alone and not the other parent. The child also pursuing their goals, their milestones and stuff is a bad thing. Psychologically, this child is being groomed and being disoriented to perceive what they are doing as a bad thing. Meanwhile, it is developmentally appropriate. How would this child grow up perceiving the world, trusting, and thinking of doing what is necessary and what is right when they are being altered to think what they did was wrong? Another thing they said is that this message or this interaction has a gaslighting component. The parent reframes a normal legal developmental step, getting a learner's permit. You see, getting a learner's permit is a normal legal developmental step in the growing continuum, in aging, in becoming an adult. But the parent, it says that, is framing that for the child to think is, or at 16 years old, to think that it is breaking the law, and blames both the child and the other parent for something that is not wrong. This distorts the child's perception of reality and teaches him to distrust his own judgment. If you were here when I read the message, the text message, this is what research is saying. A child that is 16 that is going for work permit, it is developmentally appropriate. It is legally appropriate, not just appropriate. It makes you also feel confident about yourself as a child that has met that milestone. But here you have a parent gaslighting you to think that it is breaking the law if you go and get your learner's permit. Yes, Comfort. Hey, good to see you. You found me. It is breaking the law to go and get a learner's permit, and blames the child and the other parent to see, pretty much reconstructing the child's way of seeing such an act as a bad thing. My kids grew up believing that if a babysitter hurt them, if anybody abused them and they called the police, they will be punished. So they grew up dealing with a lot of violence that they never reported because they scared that they will be punished. The police will arrest them. The police will do harm to them. This is what parental alienators are doing to their kids. So you have this child sitting in a classroom with a child that was raised by healthy parents. And your child that went through this cannot critically think. It's not proactive. It's tactic. It's rigid in their mindset. It's the way they process an assignment is totally backward. And you think that it is the devil from the village. The old woman sleeping in Yantokro that is causing that. This is us. This is us parents. We are creating this. We are like so much. When I think of some of the things, I ache so bad. And this has been on my mind for a while. And I said, I need to do research into it. And then what I found, amazing. Though I know it already, but it's just having that evidence-based validation made me want to discuss it with you guys. You get it? This distorts the child's perception of reality and teaches him to distrust his own judgment. I always tell you this. I don't hide my struggles with parental alienation, right? I said, I have a child that grew up, let's say that, Sebi Tafrache, if you go to Dudu, right, and you use your hand to clean it and use it to rub your face, you and I know it's wrong. This is just an example. That child believes it's right. I had to do a lot of reorientation, a lot of redirect, a lot for us to be able to be today sitting here with a conditional admission letter to the university without IEP. I'm not saying we are perfect, but it was a lot of work I did to get here. Imagine a child that's brain is destroyed with such way of upbringing. And this is light because the child have a brain of their own. The child already have a reasonable brain, unlike a 3-year-old that didn't have anything. You are now is slate, is organic, brain is organic. Instead of speeding up intelligence, critical thinking, industriality, exposure, you are sitting on their brain and destroying it in circles, so that you are able. Oh my God, when I think of how evil parents can be, some parents can be, it's amazing. Destroying the child's brain so that your point, oh, I told you they inherited mental illness from their father, oh, I told you they inherited mental illness from their mother, will be justified. For you to be justified, you are sitting on your child's brain, as if when that child become a rocket scientist in the future, you will also not take the glory for it. This is the reality of targeted parents, victims of parental alienation, like the children who end up with parental alienation syndrome, and the parents involved, the alienators. Number 2, so that is gaslighting. We talk about the grooming and manipulation, but number 1 thing we discuss now, gaslighting. This text message, if you are new, if you want me to read this negative, you can put in the comment section, I'll read it. But if you have heard the message already, the text message already, then fine. But if you haven't, you want me to read it, I can stop and read it again. Okay, share this video and invite parents and even young children, young teenagers. Okay. Number 2, coercive control and threat. In this scenario, statement like, I will call NVA and make the permit revoked. Coercive control and threat. Now you want to put fear in the child. Anxiety. Now their nervous system will be activated. When they see you, they'll be panicking. I have given it to my lawyer for evaluation, which is deception also. This person knows very well they are lying. But first of all, they are projecting because they are guilty. They are ashamed what they're supposed to do. The child asks that they didn't do, someone else did. They don't want, the glory goes to who did it. So they have to project to hinder to cover their feeling of guilt and shame. Are you seeing what I'm saying? This is us. This is what we are doing. You get it? And then the third statement said, do you think it's a joke? These are not normal parenting responses. They are intimidation tactics meant to instill fear, compliance, and guilt in the child. These things that are stated here, they are what the person is feeling. These are what the person is feeling for not taking responsibility for what they should have done as a parent to help the child that is 16 years old to meet their milestone, their legal and developmental milestone. They are now training the child's brain to think that it is rather illegal for them to get a learner's permit. It is a crime. In fact, a lawyer can be involved and they can go to jail. Something terrible could happen to them. What do you think? I want to see what you think too in the comment section. These are not normal parenting responses. That's what evidence is telling us. But to me, who know what projection is, I'm telling you that these intimidation tactics that are meant to instill fear, compliance, and guilt in the child, it is them displacing their guilt. They feel guilty, so they are projecting it on the child. Them feeling like the child will not trust them, the fear they are feeling that their relationship with the child will probably go a bechima or somewhere to go sour somewhere because the child would not like them, that, oh, I told you to do something for me, you didn't do it. So now They want to project that fear and force the children or the child to be scared to the point where now they want to comply with their coercive control. What do I think of what I am targeted? I am a targeted parent. Yes, my child is 14. 14. She needs. I don't know if I. She needs the truth. Absolutely. One thing I will tell you is my book is coming out. You can grab one, but I'm telling you this: the children. It's like if someone told you you buy somebody, you will defend yourself, right? At 14, she deserved the truth. 14 is an appropriate age to start knowing the truth. 3 years old, 4 years old is an age that they need to know the truth, but in a different way. Oh, we're waiting on that. That is not coming. Okay, let's just go. We'll come and check later on. You can't do much. You just keep reassuring them, reassuring them, reassuring them. But at 14, that is where they have ambivalence. They have hate towards you because of the grooming that has been done. Because of things like this. Did you hear this one's response? I asked you, you didn't, so mom did. He didn't say, I asked mom and mom did. So mom did, obviously. At the end of the day, this has to be done. But a child that was already groomed and consistently remained under the coercive control of the alienator could not say the same answer. They will live in severe fear that they would never even be able to, they will just accept whatever the alienator says. I lived like that. I lived like that. I lived like that. But when God made the way and I became the sole superior over the situation, it's like you are just stepping back. They step them on the wrong path forward. So you have to undo the mindset. Just imagine a child that was raised from the get-go with no reality, no truth, no reality education, no exposure, being groomed by this person their whole entire life. What would they become? They become hateful, they become mean, they become bitter, they become aggressive towards you, the targeted parent, for nothing that you've done wrong. Because this is how the brain is trained to believe, to think about things. I have a 33-year-old. Why is he here? My dad promised me $100 and he doesn't keep his words. What have you done for your dad to give you for you to deserve $100 that he's supposed to give to you and he didn't give? So you have to be angry and have throw tantrums, and you end up being petitioned into mental health institution. And then you live there going back to the same situation. Parental alienation is destroying our children's brain. Trauma is destroying our children's brain. The way they think about the world, the way they think about, it is so beautiful to see young children debating, having a intelligible argument, two-way conversations, versus our children that are going through this kind of parenting. What do you think? You were alienated. I am. Yes, I am. Yep. I am an alienated parent. I am a targeted parent, so I have been alienated. Yep, I was. And I'm still dealing with it, but it's a more sweet sour one, because both of the boys are from one father. One is with me, one choose to be with him. It was a challenge for nearly 3 years, from 2022 to last year. Within 1 month of everything settling, the child want to come back here. I said, no, you're going to stay there and I'm going to parent you from here. Because that particular child was having daddy issues. So imagine having the narcissist, the alienator, going to raise him. What I did in that situation is strict boundaries. I was a parent, but I wouldn't put up with bullshit. And I was clear on what I would put up with, what I wouldn't. And I was clear on, in terms of, let's say, entitlement. I shouldn't even have to do this. You know that. You want to be here, you have to, your needs supposed to be met. They are not being met, but I'm still your mom. That's why I'm doing it. I always emphasize boundaries. Mom, I want to go here. I'm not available. Or I promise I will do it and never mind it. Oh, but you told me you come. Excuse me. I told you I will come. Your dad is there. Why can't he do it? But I said I would do it. Now you don't want to be flexible because you think that whether I'm sick, whether I'm okay, whether I'm not, I must do it. No, I will do it, but when I am able to. You don't make demands. When somebody is doing something for you, you have to be flexible. It is when they are available. You don't demand things. If it's easy to get, you could have gotten it for you, right? But it's not. So someone offered to. Now you have to think the person is have emergencies too. The person is a living being. The person is driving. Anything can happen. How about you are yelling, you are angry, and the next minute the person is in a situation where they will even never come back to ever do it for you. Rather, so reality-based education and boundaries, that is what has helped me in the other person's relationship. Trust, I made sure I keep my words. I made sure I gave when it was necessary, not when it was demanded. I was available because I have to be available. You are my child, you are a minor, and someone need to be responsible for you. I will do it. But you can't demand because I may not be available when you want it. I will do it when I'm able to. So strict boundaries. So 14, you need strict boundaries, but you need to be able to use evidence-based approaches. I have to do that some way. Yeah. Can I lay down boundaries? You can. Boundaries is so important in the situation, especially when they become young teen, youth like that. It's so important because otherwise entitlement becomes the thing, and then they have already formed an ally with the alienator. So you see, so trust, that's another comment, another follow-up. This thing is there, which I think I'll do that in a different video one of these days also, so you see. And in that one you see where pleasing, he was a pleaser, the child was a pleaser. Right after this, the driving thing, there was another message exchange where you clearly the child was a pleaser. And that is what you are training the child to become, to be a people pleaser. I'm trying to figure this out. I like these analogies you use. Thank you. My book, it will come out. I'm in a phase where I want someone to guide me with the publishing. The book is ready. I just need the ISBN numbers, book covers, and stuff like that. So you have a book that will be a guide. These books are guides, and these books, the parental alienation one, there's a copy that I'm creating that will also go to policymakers in Maryland. So this is something that is in my heart and I've been working on for a while. I'm available at all times. They keep and cancel her. Yep. They will. I have an instance where the parent is taking the child to visit. and will stand in the middle of the road and say the car is spoiled. 30 minutes later, we'll go outside, blah, 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 and pretend and come out and say, the car is working again. Let's go home. Mom will probably not be there by now. She probably left. Yep. Alienators will do that. I want to, but I can't even talk to her because alienators doing this, and you are right. How 14 will end up without me. Yep. It's sad. It's sad. Let me finish the teaching and then I'll so then the third thing that was highlighted by evidence on according to this specific exchange is that he said that role reversal, role reversal. Okay, the child took initiative for a normal adolescent milestone. This is an initiative, something that the parent has to do. Take the child to the NVA to get their learner's permit. The child asks the parent severally. The parent just ignores, act like, just don't say nothing. What message are you passing on to the child? The child, they say role reversal, parentification. The child took it upon themselves to parent themselves by taking the initiative to get their own learner's permit. The child took initiative for a normal adolescent milestone. The alienating parent shames him for it, pushing the child to feel he must manage the adult's emotions. This parental alienator was shaming the child. Why does he have to go and get driver's license, learner's permit? Don't he think it's a crime? I'm going to talk to that. So you see the shame, the guilt that what he should have done. You see how I explained it earlier. What he should have done as a parent, he didn't do. He's projecting on the child. Good example for psychology happening. Yes, of psychology happening. Yes. You see what I'm saying? Blaming. So that's where the projection came in. All the guilt, all the shame that the parent experienced or was feeling, projecting it on the child, imposing it on the child for the child to think what they did was wrong. You get it? This is a hallmark of emotional manipulation, psychological grooming, emotional manipulation. Sending the child on a guilt trip just so that their ego will be massaged, their shame will be minimized, their anxiety and their, oh, I'm exposed, the fear that their behavior is being exposed. Loyalty, pressure, splitting. Loyalty, pressure / splitting. The alienator implies the child is wrong because the mother helped him, creating a forced choice dynamic, forcing the child to choose him. Meanwhile, he's not doing what he's supposed to do as a parent. So he's forcing the child to believe or feel guilty that you choosing your mother to do this for you was wrong. Are you seeing that? The parentage they discussed, what the parent's supposed to do is not doing, and it's also preventing. Normally, if the kids are little, their needs don't get met because the alienator won't do it. The alienator also prevents, like me, prevents us, the target parent, from meeting the kids' needs. Since April that this child got the permit, we are still here thinking of when he will get he will get confident behind the wheel. Another parent just paid money for the child to go to driving school. You get it? So, forced choice dynamic. If you choose independence or accept your mother's support, you are betraying me. This is classic alienation conditioning. Then so the next one, so we finished with the first one. All these things that were discussed were under grooming and manipulation: the gaslighting, coercive control and threats, role reversal and parentification, and loyal pleasure. You know, parental alienators want the children to have see them as their allies, be loyal to them, and not like the other parent, hate the other parent. The other parent is evil. The other parent, your mother is helping you so break the law. Do you think this is easy? This is a joke or something? I'm sending this to my lawyer for analysis, and I'll call the NVA to revoke. Like, who does that? Which kind of responsible, caring, loving parent sees their child meet a milestone and says they did something wrong? Think about it. Think about it. Number 2 says, why this is grooming in a psychological sense. This text message, why it is grooming in a psychological sense. In parental alienation literature, grooming does not only refer to sexual grooming, it also includes grooming for allegiance, loyalty. Let's form an allegiance. Should only have allegiance to the alienator. So you guys, this my glass don't fit. The other one is, I left it downstairs. I didn't want to go for it too. You see that? So the child should have allegiance with them against everybody else. And you are not the only person the child will relate to in the world. The child will relate with vast amount of people, millions of people, the country, people from different countries, different villages, different wherever, different career paths. And you said your way of behavior is the only way that they should choose. Form an allegiance with you against being open-minded, against being a loving person, a kind person. They should form an allegiance with your meanness, your hatefulness, your manipulative ways. You get it? The alienating parent attempts to condition the child into what? Believing the targeted parent is an unsafe parent, irresponsible parent, or law breaking. You see how this one went? Your mom is helping you break the law. This is also conditioning the child into seeing the alienator as the only valid authority. And it's also helping the child, conditioning the child into depending on what? On the alienator's approval for normal developmental actions. So you see, if this child has to depend on the alienator is the only decision maker when it comes to normalcy. What a normal person, when is appropriate to get a learner's permit. Would that ever happen? Obviously, you can tell it would not. It would not. But they are trying to push the child's brain, emotionally and psychologically grooming this child to only believe them that getting a driver's license, a learner's permit at that developmentally appropriate age and a legally appropriate age is a crime. And by them doing that, it means they are having they have somebody that they shouldn't even trust. They are trusting the person to help them break the law. You get it? Hello, Epa. Long time. How are you, Janus? How are you? Godson. We are talking about, we are analyzing a text message between a parent and a child. And then we are trying to use evidence-based explanation to teach how harmful it is for us to use these manipulative tactics to raise children. You get it? So this child is being trained to self-censor. What does it mean to self-censor? You want to put in the comment section, what does it mean to self-censor? Self-doubt and fear healthy independence. What the child did is good, because to me, the child is learning to be independent. The child is learning to be independent on their own, to learn to lean on themselves, to be self-reliant when you, the parent, refuse to be there for them. I can't let this continue. Yes. Yes. You know why I fought? If you don't fight, the children's brain gets corrupted. This is why I fought. Because if you don't fight for these kids to alter that process so that they will have healthy thinking, they will grow up with altered perception. When people are talking about A, they are talking about B. So automatically they are saying like, oh, this person have weird way of thinking. This person is mentally not correct. This way, he's so lost. She don't know, or he don't know what's going on with. This is why I fought. That simple text message. You see what psychology is telling us? You see what evidence is telling us? So if you have a text message somewhere, clean the names of the identity of the people and send it, and let's learn. Let's analyze it. Send it to me and let's analyze them. Parental alienation is a cruel act against a child. That is why our children are not intelligent. That is why our children are not smart. That is why our children have altered perception of the world, of situations, and of even they can critically think. I am exhausted for the amount of work I've been doing. I am exhausted, or just undoing. Imagine how draining it is just trying to read these things and analyze it. And the empath that I am, knowing that someone is causing this to somebody's child, a child somewhere, is draining already to me. Ask. Yes, you sure? You may ask. Yes, I have to get on my megaphone. I have to fight, and you are right. It is exhausting. And the problem is the legal system don't get it. The legal system don't get it. That's why I'm petitioning. When I finally get the books out, I'm also petitioning to the the state representative, whoever. Let me see if I see. I want to see if I can. I think this is the one for policy makers. Breaking and mending the bonds, a trauma-informed guide for families, clinicians, and policy makers. I want to think this is the policy makers one. So this is pretty much telling them what needs to be done. I believe that judges, lawyers, and stuff, they need some kind of training, and if they fund me, we can come together. I will definitely prepare a course for them. It's very important. This proposal outlines a trauma-informed policy framework to address the psychological and systemic harms of parental alienation across Maryland and beyond. It integrates interdisciplinary research from neuroscience, psychiatry, social work, and law to create actionable pathway for justice reform. So this is just a little gist of, the one that will be going to the state representatives, because they are part of the problem, the judges. the legal system, the social workers. You can't even discipline your child. They said I'm mentally ill, and my kids inherited mental illness from me. But look at what I have been able to achieve between the pandemic and today. My mental illness, getting a child out of a non-public school, getting a child out of IEP, and is on honor and is getting 4.0 GPA. Someone has to do it. Okay, how is the situation about your president who talks to so harsh towards? I don't think that's what I'm talking about here. That's a different topic altogether. It's also affecting kids as well. Not so. I'm not disputing that, but that's not what we're talking about. Over here we talk about parental alienation. We talk about how parental alienation, as parents, our behaviors are negatively impacting our children's lives and destroying their future. That's what we are focusing on here. Private attorneys are go and pay the retainer. False hope, false assurance. They give soon as you sign that retainer, they get your money. That's it. I can't trust them. All of them. Lawyers, judges, social workers. They are the reason I'm doing the policy version and send it to the state representative. And hopefully something get done about the situation. Because they are the major reason why they are not looking at the situation how they should look at it, but they are rather putting, when the kids become wasteful, they push them back into the system. Go to jail, go to this, go to IOP, go to this. They still, it's like a revolving door for someone to have a business. I'm white and I know all too well how it feels to be treated with malice, prejudice. You know it. You know it. But I don't even worry about the race card. I worry about treat situations as they should. Alienation is a deep concept that you would not understand. So if you put your sentiment, oh, this parent is talking harsh, or this parent is loud, so I have to hate them, that voice can raise a child. My voice that you don't like in the court is the same voice that has raised a child from how you were raising the child to now, knowing that I'm not entitled, raising an entitled child, and I'm not making excuses for behaviors, and I'm going to set the firm boundaries, and you're going to do the right thing for you, or if you don't, please, not for me, don't come in. I don't want your stress. It is what it is, because it's either you get it or you're going to face it. I may be your parent and I may be dealing with your nonsense, but at the end of the day, I will not be there forever. Me, I'll kick you out. I keep telling my kids know I'll kick them out. I don't have time for kids that are entitled. They don't want to do the work. No, I'll take care of you as long as you have that child. But after a certain period in your life, no, you're gonna get it right. My biggest fear in life is to be 60, 50, 60. Of course, 50 I'll still be raising them. They'll be in college. But to be 60 years old and be raising a 30-year-old and be feeding a 30-year-old who can't buy food for themselves, who can go to my trash can. This is how Ivan will have toilet tissue, like a whole toilet tissue. This is how it will be. Kutu, it's not dirty, but it's in a trash can. No, I want you to start paying for it, so that when you start paying for it and you choose to put the whole toilet tissue one side and put in the trash can, when you do that twice and your money starts finishing, maybe that will help you to wake up. So me, alienated kids could go bad like that. Alienated kids can be waste. When they say something is garbage, alienated kids, if someone don't intervene appropriately and when they should, alienated kids can become like a useless garbage. Yeah. Yes, because of how they raise them, how they train their brain to function. The alienator have a way of training the child's brain to function in a way that justifies what they want the world to see, to justify them, to validate them, their incompetencies, their inadequacies, their anxiety, their projections. They project what is going on with them in their in the, to validate, to get you to be, I told you so, to believe them. So they will do anything to destroy their own children so that they remain validated. You get it? So number two, right? We finished number two. Number three. So number two, we're talking about the grooming for allegiance, right? We talk about that. Why this is grooming in a psychological sense. We talk about that, right? Where this, oh yeah, I was trying to, and we need to go back here. I was trying to ask you what is censor, when they said the child is censoring, right? You remember I was telling you there was a continuation of the text where I felt like the child is now is kind of um pleasing, like, so the child will become a person pleaser, right? So in this case they are censoring, they self-censor, right? Self-censoring means a person stops themselves from saying, doing, or expressing something, not because it's wrong or unsafe, but because they fear how someone else will react. So the child starts to self-censor, right? Okay, so let's go back to um what we were talking about. Number three, why the age matters. Almost 17 years old. At 16 to 17, the brain is undergoing major prefrontal cortex development, judgment, autonomy. Don't forget, teenagers, they are developing the sense of autonomy, which you can see this child have that sense of autonomy to a very large extent. Dad, take me to MVA. I need to get my permit. I need to get my learner's permit. I asked you several times, you didn't mind me, so mom did. Mom took me. You didn't, so mom did. See that? And you are altering that normal developmental stage in their life, the autonomy, the self-reliance. They just needed your support. You didn't even, you supposed to be, hey, when are you getting your learners? You are of age now. You are at that point. But the child did it themselves. And you still couldn't support, except come and gaslight, come and make them feel guilty, come and make them think it's illegal to get a learner's permit. You see that? The brain, okay, we talk about is developed. The prefrontal cortex is developing, where the prefrontal cortex, that is where judgment, autonomy, and planning takes place. All that they did involved these things: judgment, autonomy, planning to study, to go and get the learner's permit, pass it on the first trial, all that. That is age appropriate. Adolescents begin asserting independence, becoming assertive. You can see in that the child was also assertive, standing out for themselves and opposing the accusation. Identity formation is central. You can also see it in this child's personality there. The alienator is attempting to sabotage. Say, preach. You guys know I talked about sabotage. The alienator is attempting to sabotage normal autonomy and weaponize a developmental milestone to shame the child and undermine his confidence, undermine the child's confidence. They are teaching the child not to trust the other parent because what the other parent did was wrong, taking you to the NVA to get your learner's permit. They're teaching them not to trust others. So you think you are hating the other parent and all, you should be. You see what is happening? Number 4, effects on cognitive development and perception. What this whole chat, text message. You see the text message and you see the extent to which we are learning. I didn't bring water close by. You see that? So effects on cognitive development and perception. Distorted sense of autonomy. The child learns, I am wrong for taking the initiative. When today you are looking for a job, they want to know if you're a follower, if a change is about to happen, you are a person that takes the initiative, or you are a person that waits others to start first before you follow. So these initiatives, these are the traits that this boy has that I love so much. These are traits that are being undermined and are being damaged. The perception, the child's perception is being trained to see this self-zeal, self-awareness, self-desire, like a self-starter, all these things as a bad thing. You are also training, this conversation is also training the child that to learn that my choices make one parent angry. So now they have to be pleasing the other parent, which is here. I'm not lying. I will do this another day, but let's read the following conversation. Then he went to a bank statement. Bank 2 is, and look at the child's response. Then you know what I'm saying is right. This is it. I'm not lying. You went behind my back and opened a bank account after I opened one for you. You and your mother keep breaking the law. Another law that they still break. And violating the court order after I specifically told you that you have to prove to me that you are responsible. Then you went behind my back for the second time. So they get driver's license, they got bank account. The child gets money. When the government gives the child money, you take the money from the child. The child start working because you get their money, you don't give it to them. They'll be needing money for food. They don't have it. Because of that, the child has gotten themselves a job. To teach the child how to save, he used these tactics to prevent the child from that. This is the child's response. I said, and then it says that we'll analyze this in the future. We'll analyze this another day. But I wanted you to see what I'm saying, how it relates to this. The child said, I didn't open it. My mother did. But she's gonna close it anyways because I'm not using it. You see? Now he has to please the father. When you have bank account, so that the work you are doing, you will learn how to save a percentage of your income, so that you will learn this habit early on. Because of this altered, inconsistent way of parenting. One parent is trying to do this, one parent is trying to do that. If we should go to court right now, that parent that is trying to teach him healthy money habits and stuff is going to be showcased as mentally ill, mentally challenged. She's breaking the law and she's making the child, hey, if you start in court on opposite bars with a narcissist, I said the way judges lack the understanding of who these people are is amazing. They will side with them and you will be like, but what they are saying don't make sense. So why don't you see that what they are saying? No, and then I now that I thought about it, I strongly believe one of this, there was a specific judge that is a narcissist himself, and maybe he was just projecting what he probably dealt with. You know how you have transference and counter transference. I think that man was just doing that because it just don't make sense. Where somebody says something and you know clearly what they are saying don't add up, but you side with them. You got to be a narcissist to only see that altered presentation as evidence of anything. I'm telling you, age when it comes to these kids and fighting, and it's important. If you are missing out in action for a very long time, the kids will be destroyed before it will be difficult for you to get anything out of them. My fear was, what would I have done? Hey, how you see a child seeing water and tell you is wine? I'm not saying literally. I'm just giving example. It was bad. So I just couldn't let go and just let the children or the child destroy, but to keep fighting with money I didn't have. It's sad. You get it? So the alienator is attempting to sabotage normal autonomy and weaponize a developmental milestone to shame the child and undermine his confidence, the child's confidence. Number 4 says effects of cognitive development and perception, distorted sense of autonomy. The child learns, I am wrong for taking the initiative. Oh, I think we did that already. But let me just read over. My choices make one parent angry. Independence is dangerous. You see, your behavior and the way you are presenting this, you're teaching the child that they shouldn't be independent. That it's bad to be you see where they've developed their allegiance to their parent. You see where they develop their codependent relationship. Then they go and marry one day. Then they still create their codependent situation. They can never have develop the sense of autonomy, independence. No. Think about it. This can delay normal executive functioning. Executive function. You know what executive function is. It comes from here, the prefrontal cortex. Including what? Planning, decision making, and assertiveness. You can tell in the first message, the child was very assertive. I told you to do it, to take me, you didn't, so mom did. That's just someone advocating for themselves, being assertive. All right. Internalizing fear and hypervigilance. This is where the mental health illnesses comes. I don't have to trust mom. Oh, if I trust mom and I listen to mom, then dad is not gonna like me. Then the child. This is mental illness. So you see where we came from. You see where we are going, and this is how we see the kids on the mental health ward constantly. Internalized fear and hypervigilance. Threats. Oh, I will send it. I send it to my lawyer to analyze it. I'm gonna call the NVA and terminate and cancel the permit. I'm this and that. You see that? So now the child is gonna imagine the child listening to these threats all the time. They are now going to internalize it. They are going to become hypervigilance. They are going to be worried. Threats of punishment, revoking permit, calling lawyers, activate the child's stress response system, the cortisol level. Because the child didn't know that they are lying. In this case, I spoke with, so I know the child know. You think I'm minding him? You think I'm minding him? Because this child know better already. But in a child that did not have another parent like me or somebody trying to alter that awkward perception, awkward way of training the brain, and that child, you were prevented, you didn't fight her, and the child grew up with this narcissist, this alienator to 14, 15, 16. My dear, you don't have a child. You don't have a child. You will never have a child, because there is no way that brain will go back being normal. If you miss those formative years of the grooming process, you can't go back on doing these things. It will be hard. Because when they start, you see, because the child is developing their own sense of autonomy, they are able to answer questions and respond the way they should. Why is he there? But the child is telling someone sitting somewhere the college they will go to, how they plan to go to college, the dormitory, they won't be in dormitory, you won't be where? Thank you. So think about it. The stress response because of you putting fear in them. Now they start internalizing the threats. They become hyper vigilant. They are now worried that, hey, he's going to do revoke my permit. Something I studied for. Oh, what is going to happen? So the child starts to be scared. I remember when one of the boys were told that before the permit, if your mom take you to the permit, I'll take her to court. I said, tell him to take us to court. Because I would love to see the kind of judge that said this child meets a developmental milestone and a parent that is the best parent and the best parent award goes to him will not take you to get your permit. And the person that will should be sent to court. Nice. Let's do it. Think about it. Then he says that, they said these things, what triggers the stress response system. Long-term effects includes what? Anxiety, chronic self-doubt. You see how low self-esteem and complex situations are built. So when I'm telling you, when I was coming, I said we are creating the mental health issues. We as parents, we as alienators, we as narcissists, we are creating these things in our children. The mental health issues in our children is we. We are those creating them. Give me a minute, guys. Court indulgence. Court indulgence. You see that? Anxiety, chronic self-doubt, over compliance, like a peacemaker, over compliance, fear of doing normal things without permission. The child is now going to begin expecting consequences even when none should exist. Are you seeing that? The child is going to see consequence when there is no consequence. It just happened that this child know better, so situations like this, sometimes we just talk over the phone and laugh over it and stuff. Sometimes it's even rather me that will be angry, like why this and that. But for him, he just brushes it to the side. But I make sure I emphasize, he's still your dad. I don't entertain disrespect of their father. We have to keep the faith as well, by all means. You see that? Over compliance, fear of doing normal things without permission. He begins experiencing or expecting consequences when there shouldn't be any. Next one is confusion about reality, which you see this one, there will be, if it's not that the child have their own brain, a brain of their own, confusion. Being told he and his mother broke the law when they did not break any law is gaslighting. That is altered. Now you are going to alter their cognitive process, the way they process information and the way they perceive things. This can cause what? Cognitive dissonance, impaired reality testing, difficulty trusting his own perceptions, susceptibility to future manipulation. You get it? Damage to moral reasoning, When a normal legal action is framed as immoral or criminal, the child may begin to question his own judgment, feel guilty or feel a sense of guilt or shame for healthy adolescents, because everything that is going on in that was just normal and appropriate, but now they are being altered. Their brain is being altered to perceive them otherwise. Associate independence with wrongdoing. Everything that child did was right. Developing a sense of independence was right. Taking the initiative was right. Just an appropriate, healthy young man's behavior. Being pushed and being altered otherwise. Next is identity conflict. Two worlds split. Children in alienation develop a fragmented internal world. Let me tell you, it took a lot of work to get this issue, identity conflict, being split in two worlds. It's a lot of work. But would you rather do it now when you are able to, or when they are young and the cells are still developing, or you want to wait? Some kids go through this alienation situation, parental alienation syndrome kids. They hate this targeted parent for nothing the targeted parent did wrong, but just because they believe the alienator. Some of the cases too, the targeted parent is nearly exiting this world before there will be some turnaround. Some just don't care. They wait till you can go to hell. No one cares. They don't care. That is why breaking and mending the bonds in parental alienation is coming soon, so that you read, you understand, and you learn how to combat these things. The earlier, the better. That's the only out. Getting psychologically informed, getting your psychoeducation in. That's the only thing that will help. Okay. So children in alienation develop a fragmented internal world, spirit world. With mom, I am allowed to grow, to be normal, to get my developmentally appropriate task completed, get my learner's permit, get this, get that. With that, I am punished for growing, for developing a sense of independence, for taking initiative, for being a good kid, for doing what is right. I should perceive doing what is right as illegal, as a crime, This creates divided loyalty, emotional exhaustion, identity confusion, so much common, difficulty forming stable, healthy boundaries in adult life. As an adult, when these kids become an adult, this is what happens. You get it? Next is learned helplessness. When a child is repeatedly shamed for normal development, he may eventually conclude it's safer not to try anything at all. This is linked to depression, low motivation, failure to launch, dependence on controlling others. And then, you think that we haven't even talked about how these kids sometimes can adopt these unhealthy habits, and they themselves become coercive people, controlling people, malicious people, manipulators. Aside the effects in altering their normal aging process, developmental process, talk about how they also grew up learning these unhealthy ways of life. That's why I keep telling you that narcissism is a way of life. It is a learned behavior. It's a learned way of life. You get it? Emotional impact on the child. Expect withdrawal. Now the child is going to be playing hide and seek, living withdrawal, will not be forthcoming, will be depressed. If I go close to my dad will think I'm wrong or this. Or so they have to withdraw in isolation, feel depressed, anxious, nightmares. You get it? Think about it. Guilt, nervousness around expressing needs. They'll be nervous. They can't feel free to know that, oh, I can come to my parent and ask for something and it will be done. And if I go and dad don't do it, if I go to mom and mom does it too, I'll be blamed for it. Think about it. Avoidance of conflict, because they don't, you see, as he don't want to face him for his behavior, he said, oh, it's not me, it's mom that opened the bank account, and even she's even closing it because I'm not using it. You see that? People pleasing habits. You see, avoidance of conflict, just to please somebody's ego. And then I bet that made him glow. Oh yeah, finally I could get you to not use the bank account she opened for you. But it's not my business. It's your money that will be taken. And you come crying again, and I will mind you. That's where the boundaries comes in. Because no, my emotions will not be drawn to it. You get it? Avoidance of conflict. Feeling responsible for parental emotions. Why should a child feel responsible for your anger, your unkind heart, your inability to perceive a child at 16 getting a learner's permit as a good thing that you didn't invest in? They did it on their own. You couldn't even give them a positive reinforcement. Oh, you did well. Wow, who taught you? No. You have to blame them for getting that milestone accomplished without your support, because that makes you feel guilty. So if you can do that, it makes you numb some of the anxiety associated with your own inadequacies, right? Okay. Feeling responsible for parental emotions, suppressing excitement about achievements. Suppressing. Now the child have to celebrate this milestone, but because of you, the way you want them to perceive it, they have to do what? Suppress it. They can't even celebrate their milestones because that would not make you happy. What a shame. Alienators. You know, the child likely feels proud of learning his permit, yet shamed for it and forced to defend his mother while being accused of wrongdoing. This is emotionally destabilizing and unfair. That is what psychological researchers are saying. Why this pattern is concerning long term. You have the child went through all this trauma, all this poor parenting, all these things. Now they are 35 and they are in the mental health ward because you are now tired of feeding a 35-year-old, raising a 35-year-old who cannot critically think, who don't have self-confidence, who is not industrious, who doesn't take initiative, who don't go and dig gold for themselves. So they are now fighting you at 75, 80, that how dare you sell your house? You cannot sell your house and downsize. They must live there and feed on you and everything, so you cannot. But you forgot what you did. You forgot how all this discussion tonight went, how you started. You forgot how you started and how you end up creating the low self-esteem, the anxiety, the invalidation feelings and stuff in them. You forgot that. Now you want, all of a sudden, you want to kick them out. They are going to remain your burden. They will stay there till thy kingdom comes. So you better be ready until you wake up and be a healthy parent and use healthy parenting approaches, forget it. You see that? It says that why these patterns long term are harmful is that children that are exposed to this kind of parental alienation habits and tactics, what are they? They often grow into adults who second guess themselves constantly, who fear authority figures, enter abusive relationships, avoid independence, struggle to make decisions without guilt, believe they must earn love by abandoning their own needs. The emotional and neurological imprint is significant. And I hope this helps. This is where we end our conversation on analyzing a conversation or a text message between an alienating parent and a target parent, to help you understand how harmful it is to be a parental alienator. It's very dangerous, it's very detrimental, and you don't want to engage in that. Together we can do better to raise these skills in a healthy way. All right, I love you guys. I will talk to you in the next video. The next video will probably will analyze that text message. So if you have a text message somewhere between an alienating parent and a child that you want us to look at, send it my way. I'll be grateful to do that with you and with everybody else. God bless you. Have a good night. Don't forget to like, share this video. This video is a whole podcast. Your drive time, going to work, everything. Share this video. Someone will benefit from it. I love you. Have a good night.